I used to dream about showing the world what I dream about. Forget a mic, my whole life I thought it'd be the mount. I guess it's fitting how life threw me the curveball. Pops told me work till you make it, man, then work more. I guess I took that to heart, cause I've been working harder now than I...
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mom's Basement or Mind Over Matter Sports. Appreciate you guys listening, watching on YouTube, whatever it may be. Once again, I'm your host, Joe.
He didn't even introduce me. Hi guys, I'm Corey. What is going on?
I'm gonna let Corey do it himself this week.
I'm growing up, guys.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yes. As always, make sure you're checking out Crossover Report, crossoverreport.com, at Crossover Report on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all social media. Make sure you guys are checking out that content. Make sure you guys are subscribing to our channel. I've seen a little bit of growth on our YouTube channel. We want to keep that going.
Shout out to Crossover Report for letting me know that my Twitter got hacked this week. You guys actually referred to me as an employee of Crossover Report. I appreciate that. But thank you for letting me know it was hacked. And don't buy those Ray-Ban sunglasses, okay?
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a bunch of advertisements for sunglasses when I got hacked. So
Interesting. Yeah, I saw that. I saw it late. I saw that I had a notification from you, and I was like, I went to go see the notification on Twitter, and it wasn't there. And
yeah, I went through some mass deleting, but shout out to Crossover Report.
Also, shout out to us. This is the third video in 7 days.
We're being productive, guys.
Killing
Breaking
it.
the fourth wall.
Yeah, I mean, and we're going to be back next week, too, I believe.
I don't see why not.
We've already planned this. Yeah, okay. So today we got a lot of Bears talk. NFL free agency has started. We're going to talk about the path they're taking, the signings they've made, the signings they haven't made, and one specific release that has me upset at everybody in my mentions on Twitter, almost everybody in my mentions on Twitter. And then we're going to sprinkle in there at the end some World Baseball Classic talk. And yeah, it should be it. We're just going to take a lot of time to talk about NFL today, so let's jump right into it. The Bears, the time has come. They've cut quarterback Jay Cutler. He is a free agent. Now, Corey, let's take a time to reflect on Jay as a Bear. Go.
I was just having a moment of silence for Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler came here, 2008, after the 2008 season, so 2009 was his first year here. Bears gave up Kyle Orton, a third and 2 first-round picks for him. That's kind of the price it takes to get a Pro Bowl franchise-type quarterback. And there was a lot of excitement when it happened, but at the same time, his general manager, Jerry Angelo, left him with starting wide receivers of, Devin Hester,
Johnny Knox,
Earl Bennett, guys who are either no longer in the league or had no talent at the position, or a combination of both. Then they signed Orlando Pace to block his blind side, who was, 36 years old and way past his prime.
Yep.
You know what? Jay Cutler is the best quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears. He wasn't given a lot of talent to work around him on offense, at least during the Lovie Smith era, because he went through, like we mentioned, his starting wide receivers, and he was shuffling through offensive coordinators every year, whether it was Ron Turner or Mike Tice or Mike Martz. He never really got into
That's tough to do.
Yeah.
Let's stop and let's say, if you're switching coaches or you're switching coordinators, you're learning a new system every year, that is not easy, and that's not on him. He's not making that decision.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks who are successful in the league, you look at Peyton Manning had the same offensive coordinator, at least in the same building as
for
him
90% of his
for
career.
his entire career. Tom Moore, I believe it was for Indianapolis, and then Brady has had occasional rotation of his offensive staff, but he still has the best head coach of all time there. That's a model of consistency. Aaron Rodgers has had the same head coach for his entire career and pretty similar offensive staff.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees has had Sean Payton, absolutely. So if you're changing offensive staffs every year, it's not going to create chemistry between a quarterback, his coordinator, and the playbook. So Jay Cutler was a victim of that. And like I said, during the Lovie Smith era, he had no weapons on offense. He had Greg Olsen, and
before Greg Olsen was really
Yeah, that was before Greg Olsen became
top
elite.
3 tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was Greg Olsen on his rookie deal,
Yeah.
so he eventually got traded away. But he had nothing on offense. He had a very talented defense, and they made the NFC title game one year with Cutler, with the worst offensive line in football and terrible wide receivers, on the back of a very good defense. And that NFC championship game got Cutler a lot of heat because he had a sprained MCL, which kept Matt Forte out of football for 4 to 6 weeks when he suffered that injury. But because Cutler wouldn't come back into the game, he got a lot of hate for that.
Why don't you go sprain your MCL and go play a game of football as the quarterback?
Yeah, it was crazy because I remember when that happened to Matt Forte. I think it was in 2011. Matt Forte was out for the rest of the year when the season was like 5 weeks left. Like, he thought he could maybe come back in the last week, but at that point they were out of the playoffs, so there was no point. Or maybe that was 2010, whichever. But the point is, Jay Cutler suffered an injury, and he was unfairly criticized by the Chicago media and people outside of the Chicago media, saying he wasn't tough even though he was getting sacked 50 times a year. And people really weren't fair to Jay Cutler.
Let me take a moment to say this. If you're criticizing Cutler even now, stop it. Just knock it off. It's just not cool. It's not warranted. Your assessment is lazy. Just stay away from the game of football. Honestly, we never said he was a good quarterback. We never said he was an elite quarterback.
No,
we
never.
said you can win with him. You're not going to win on his back. Essentially.
Yeah, you're not. Go ahead.
And that reflects in the stats. He was, I think, 13th in yards and touchdowns since he came to the Bears in 2009.
You're right.
So that's average. Like, that is exactly what we said he is. We know what he is. And back when we read that article, the article had said when his defense allowed 21 points or less, he was winning more than the NFL average. And when they allowed 21 points or more, he was still winning more than the NFL average, but the NFL average was like 21%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not his defense was a big key to when they won and they lost.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. He made an NFC title game in 2010 versus the Green Bay Packers with shit at wide receiver and very bad offensive line. But he had a top 10 defense because that was the year the Bears had signed Julius Peppers. They still had Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs.
I was a freshman in high school, I think.
Yeah, so you put decent talent on the other side of the football, and he can help a team win a division and get to an NFC title game. And then after the Lovie Smith era ended, the focus shifted more towards building the team around Jay Cutler, and that was a mistake to make, granted, because, again, he's a good quarterback. He's not a very good quarterback. He's not a top 5, top 10 quarterback, so you really don't need to build around him. But granted, during the Mark Trestman era, they did put good offensive pieces around Jay Cutler. You had 2 6'3", 6'4" wide receivers in Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey. You had Martellus Bennett at tight end, who is a phenomenal weapon. You had Matt Forte, who is one of the best receiving backs maybe ever, and he can run the ball very well as well. But the downside is the Bears had the worst defense in maybe the history of the NFL.
He either had one or the other. They never had kind of a whole team to really put it together and make a run, and that's not his fault, honestly. 51-51 as a Bear. If you want their record with backups, it's like 9-10 games under 500. I mean, Barkley and Hoyer, they both won a game this year. Hoyer was 1-3. Jimmy Clausen didn't win a game. And if you say Rex Grossman brought him to a Super Bowl, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, Rex Grossman, it was different. Rex Grossman had better weapons than when Cutler was in the championship game. He had a top 5 defense in the NFL that year.
And let's get this straight.
Yeah. Jay
Cutler's worst season is still better than Rex Grossman's best year.
Yeah, I believe Rex Grossman's best season of touchdown to interception ratio was the year they went to the Super Bowl. He was 23-20.
That's exactly what it was.
He threw 20 picks, which is horrible.
His completion percentage was in the 50s, too.
Yeah.
54. That's horrible as quarterback. Yeah.
Rex Grossman, you shouldn't put Rex Grossman in the same category as
Knock it
Cutler
off.
ever.
It's annoying.
It's really lazy that people say that Cutler is, the worst quarterback, in the NFL.
This is what you should do. You should
shout out to Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith, you're garbage. You should say, you know what? All right, we're going to move on from Jay. Fine. Thank you, Jay. It's been a great ride.
And
thank you for all you've done.
people who want to get rid of him so quickly and who've wanted to. Do you remember the Bears quarterbacks before Jay Cutler? We had Kyle Lorton, who was at best a serviceable starter, but probably not on Cutler's level. You had Rex Grossman, who was a first-round pick, who rode a great defense, and Thomas Jones to a Super Bowl. You had Brian Greasy. You had a busting Cade McNown. You had I can't think of them all, but they've had really bad quarterback play.
Yes.
They have had one quarterback, I think, who's had a Pro Bowl season, and that was Jim McMahon. I think he was the last Bears Pro Bowler in 1985, the year they won the Super Bowl. They haven't had a reliable answer there, and you know what? Special, fuck you to Jerry Angelo and Phil Emery. Not so much Ryan Pace, because Ryan Pace was never really tied to Cutler, but for Jerry Angelo for not completing building around a quarterback and building a proper team, and for Phil Emery for hiring Mark Trestman and Aaron Kromer, two of the worst coaches ever to take part in a Bears season, and just refusing to draft well. They didn't draft well on defense in the Phil Emery era. Shane McClellan was his first pick.
Super Bowl champ, though.
He is a Super Bowl champ. He has more rings than Brian Urlacher, which depresses me greatly. But Jerry Angelo did good in acquiring the quarterback, but he did nothing after that.
Yeah. I can't believe we had to spend time on this. It really irks me.
I don't see... No one has ever said that Jay Cutler is an elite quarterback. Correct. Or Jay Cutler is going to be the reason your team wins a Super Bowl. But he was a Pro Bowl quarterback in his career.
You know what I say? When you think he would have won the AFC title game if he was on the Jets back in the day?
Back when Rex Ryan was taking him?
Instead of Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think Jay Cutler is going to be... Hopefully, I pray he's put in a winning situation, a team like Houston,
yes,
that is just a quarterback away. You watch how good Jay Cutler is if he's given a team that has a really good defense and solid weapons on offense around him. A team that's actually competent as far as drafting and coaching goes. Jay Cutler has an amazing arm, great mobility, and yeah, you know what, at this point in his career, he's older, he's an injury risk, but, he was very unfairly treated in Chicago, and he'll always be one of my favorite Bears.
Thanks, Jay. Let's move on now. Let's talk about some of the Bears signings up to this point. We're going to start Kendall Wright, receiver, 1 year, $4 million. Corey, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'll give a thumbs up for this.
I will too.
Bears need receiver help.
It gives them depth, and it gives them good upside at the receiver position too. I just think he didn't gel in Tennessee. Maybe you can get a spark out of him here, and he has a pretty good season here.
Well, as much garbage as we give Dowell Logans, Kendall Wright had his best season in 2013 under Dowell Logans in Tennessee, where he had 94 catches as a number 2 or a slot receiver. So he put up some good numbers for Dowell Logans, so let's see what happens.
Marcus Cooper, cornerback, got a 3-year deal. Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'll give a thumbs up for that.
Also, I will too.
The guy got a 3-year deal. I'm not sure of the money yet, but
the money I don't think was released quite yet.
Yeah, at this point it has not been released, but the Bears have had a really rough time taking the ball away in the secondary, and Marcus Cooper started 13 games last year. I think he'll start for the Bears. I think he should. And he had 4 picks. He'll help them take the ball away.
How many picks did the Bears have this whole year? I think they had 4 picks all year.
Yeah, that's probably a good assessment. Their secondary was really bad.
Yeah, okay. Marcus Wheaton, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'm kind of neutral to it. I kind of want to see what he does. I mean, he's fast, but he's been
super unreliable.
He hasn't been reliable. I mean, maybe he'll provide some value as a returner, but he's not the answer to anything. I think he's better in a more minor role. But yes, if he's told to be a team's number 2 or number 3 receiver, that's going to be a problem.
The Steelers had him benched this year.
Yeah.
So all right, Deion Sims, tight end, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I really don't care.
Sideways, yeah, neutral.
Yeah, I don't care about Deion Sims. Deion Sims is slightly better than your good blocking tight end as far as receiving goes, but he's certainly not a long-term answer at tight end. He's not a dynamic tight end.
You still need to find an answer in the draft, I think.
Yeah, and this is a good year to do it. He'll be a good placeholder.
Sure.
As a blocker.
Mike Glennon, the quarterback. Now, let's break down the Glennon deal real quick. Don't look at the numbers. Listen to me. It's essentially a 1-year deal with 2 team options.
Basically,
they can get out of this deal after this year with little to no harm done.
Basically, because the total contract now is 3 years, $45 million, with $19 million of it guaranteed, and that's the real number you need to look at is the guaranteed contract. Money. So that averages about $6.3 million over the course of 3 years, but they're paying him, I believe, $15 or $16 million in that first year. So he's not gonna. So after that first year, he's not going to cost much money to release him.
Which is fine to do right now because you have a ton of money.
And then as far as Mike Glennon goes, this deal got a lot of hate, but Mike Glennon's not a bad quarterback. I don't think. I think he's
still not your answer.
I still don't think he's as good as Jay Cutler. I still don't think he's your answer.
I agree with both of those statements.
But his rookie year, he had a touchdown to interception ratio of 19-9 with a horrific offensive line in Tampa Bay at that time. I think Mike Glennon has a very good interior offensive line in Chicago, which will allow him to step up. I think that, they lost Alshon Jeffrey, but he still can do something. I think with
this offense has to be run first.
Yeah, it's gonna. You have a Pro Bowl running back behind you. If the offense is Jordan Howard centric,
yes,
this Mike Glennon's not going to look like an idiot, and
right.
Mike Glennon's not going to look like the worst quarterback to ever take a snap for the Bears. He's a stopgap. The Bears are going to draft a quarterback either this year, I hope, or next year, and Mike Glennon is just going to keep the seat warm until the rookie is ready.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Yes.
Quentin Demps, safety on a 3-year deal at age 32.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm gonna give it a down. Quentin Demps had a pretty good year last year anyway. I saw that. Quentin Demps had 6 picks for the Houston Texans, but he's 32. You're signing him to a 3-year deal. I'm not sure what the money is on that, but if you,
I'll tell you what the money is. It's not smart money.
Yeah. You know what? Again, the guaranteed money is low and you can cut him after a year or two if he doesn't perform, then that's perfectly fine. But 3 years is a long deal for a defensive back who, once you kind of usually hit the age of 30 at a skill position, you're going to lose speed. And since his position relies on him not getting burned downfield, I'm not a big fan of the signing.
Now, as a veteran, do you think he can bring something to the table for a guy like Adrian Amos?
I mean, Antrell Roll really didn't, or anything like that. I don't think. I think Adrian Amos needs to be put in the proper position.
Well, we know that.
I think Demps is going to be the free safety, and I think Amos will be the strong safety, assuming they don't draft somebody like Malik Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Demps' presence is really going to impact Adrian Amos too much.
Sure. Ooh, excuse me. Prince Amukamara, cornerback, 1 year, $7 million.
I'll give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I really liked Prince Amukamara coming out of the draft. The only downside to him was that he didn't have a lot of picks, but teams weren't really throwing his way in college.
Yeah.
I think he could be a very solid starter. I think with help from the Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, they can do some work and he could be a very productive signing for them.
Yeah, I like Prince Amukamara a lot. Like you said, I liked him in college too. I started with the Giants, I believe, is who drafted him.
Yep, he was drafted with the
Giants. I like him a lot. I think it's low risk. It's a 1 year deal. What can you lose? You need cornerback help like crazy. So the secondary got better. Let's put it.
I think so too. And I think if these two are the starting corners on opening on week 1, I don't think that's a bad tandem at starting corner. I really don't.
Tom Compton, tackle, signed.
He's a backup tackle.
He's a depth signing. Sure. Not all these signings are going to be impact starters.
If everything goes right, he doesn't see a snap because Bobby Massey is playing better or Charles Leno isn't getting Mike Glennon killed.
God, I hate those tackles. When they came out of your mouth, those words of starting tackles in the NFL just hurt my brain.
Yeah. They need to find a long-term solution at those tackle spots. But, he's not going to see the field, and that's going to be a good thing. So
let's talk about the route we've seen Ryan Pace go. Now, it's clear here they missed completely on the big targets.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. They missed on everything.
Yeah, let's start with the cornerback field, since we talked a lot about cornerbacks. Stephon Gilmore got a 5-year deal, with the New England Patriots.
That's scary.
Yeah, they lost out on A.J. Bouye, too, and these guys were the top defensive backs on the market. For a team that wants to put themselves in position to contend and really shore up that position, you've needed to land one of those guys, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was blasphemous, really. They didn't land a huge name. I was hoping Bouye, Gilmore, maybe Calais Campbell. I mean, that would have been the only guy that I thought they would have gone after that was like 30, 32 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was. What was it? Thursday, Friday? I was just sitting there reading Twitter, like, oh my god, the Bears are striking out flat on their. They fell
really
flat
are.
on their face.
Ryan Pace is sort of took an L.
Jeffrey left. I mean, it was just a bad first couple of days.
The Bears lost Alshon Jeffrey as well to a one-year deal that is worth $14.5 total, but $9.5 guaranteed, which basically tells you that he didn't want to be a Bear.
He did not want to be here.
He didn't want to be a Bear, and especially because he took a one-year deal. I find that to be very interesting. Since he was looking to cash in big, I'm sure the Bears were offering him something beyond 1 year because you want to retain your own, but he just didn't want to be here.
Yeah, they miss on the corners. Jeffrey walks. They miss on Swearinger. They missed on Jefferson. And I heard the Jefferson thing was them just not wanting to move up from $6 million per to $8 million per.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a huge difference to me.
It really doesn't.
To be honest. If you wanted him, you would have paid him.
He probably would have been a better choice than Quentin Demps anyway.
He 100% would have been a better choice than Quentin Demps.
Yeah, Ryan Pace struck out. We get it.
So we consider that kind of like the first wave of free agents. And most of the guys they signed now are kind of like the second wave, if that makes any sense.
And see, this is where good teams, and I'm not saying the Bears are a good team, but this is where good teams spend their money.
You find good value.
Is on day 2, day 3, day 4 of free agency, because you look at a team like the Green Bay Packers, they get consistent shit from their fan base because they don't do anything in free agency, but they didn't do anything day 1.
Yep.
Day 2, they signed Martellus Bennett, who is a top 5 tight end in all of football, for about $6 million a year. That's excellent value. The day after,
on the other side, you look at the last 2 years what the Jacksonville Jaguars have done, and we all know how high we were on the Jacksonville Jaguars going into last season.
We were riding the Jaguars hype train, and we got derailed.
We did get derailed hard. Then they signed Calais Campbell and Bouye.
Yeah.
To huge contracts.
It's something that is preached in every single sport, but it's really pertinent in the NFL. You build your team through the draft. And to this point, Ryan Pace has been, at the very worst, I would say, average to slightly above average in terms of hitting on his picks.
I'd say average.
You know, his big mark on him right now is Kevin White, but he's done a lot of.
I'll never let that go.
Yeah, and you probably shouldn't.
Corey, who went right after Kevin White in the draft?
Oh, Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley, man.
Vic Beasley, the pass rusher for the Atlanta Falcons, who just was rushing Tom Brady in a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And but you know what? Beyond that, he picked Leonard Floyd when we all thought Leonard Floyd was going to be not the best pick. He's taken players like Eddie Goldman, Jordan Howard in the 5th round, Adrian Amos in the 5th round. He's found value late. He got Cody Whitehair, who's going to be the Bears' starting center or left guard for the next 10 years.
Yep.
He's found value. It's just he needs to be given a chance, I think, to take a quarterback. I think every GM needs to be given
to get one chance at their guy.
One chance to make a decision at quarterback. You know, Jerry Angelo made his decision by trading for Jay Cutler. And Phil Emery made his decision at quarterback by signing Cutler to a 7-year deal that ultimately has come to an end.
Yes.
And those weren't the wrong decisions at quarterback. It's what they did after. We already talked about Jay Cutler. So Ryan Pace needs to look at this crop of quarterbacks. He needs to look at Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. He needs to look at Mitch Trubisky, and he needs to look at DeShone Kizer and be like, which one of these 4 can be my franchise quarterback? And he needs to do his scouting on them and see where his draft plan works as to where he can take his guy for the next coming years. Because when you draft a quarterback, if you get somebody like, say, a Cam Newton, you can find yourself in a Super Bowl real quick.
For sure.
But if you take a guy like the Raiders did with Jamarcus Russell, it sets you back for 5 years. So you need to make the right decision at quarterback. I think every GM deserves that decision.
Sure.
And I think Ryan Pace is going to. I said my opinion and Pace, but I think Ryan Pace will get his chance at that.
All right, now we talked about what the Bears have done so far, and do we want to talk about what we see them doing as we continue through free agency? I mean, what do we think? What do we think there's left for them to do?
Well, most of these players that they're signing, and their going to side are going to have very little guaranteed money and very small life of the contract, and I think that's just to give Ryan Pace a chance at one or two more draft classes while still keeping the team competitive and without rushing the younger players. Just to, get his own guys in there. I think that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what it is. Get your own roster. Get your own dudes in there. Yeah, absolutely. I think, do they need to add more depth? I think yes, obviously. I mean, you can never have enough depth.
Yeah.
But I don't know what impact free agents are even left really on the market.
Mostly it's defensive linemen like defensive linemen like Don Terry Poe, and I believe John Hankins is one of them.
I heard they had Poe had an injury.
A back issue.
Back issue.
Yeah, which happens if you're that big, I'm guessing.
Massive.
But,
they don't really need him. They've got Eddie Goldman.
Yeah, they got Eddie Goldman.
If you're going to sign one, Hankins would be the dude I would go for.
Yeah. Poe is more the bigger name, but Ryan Pace is going to get his chance to draft. I don't think you look for depth. I think you're looking for your impact guy at quarterback and players who can be stars to build around going forward.
So basically what we see is happening right now with the Bears is they're signing these low guaranteed money deals, short amount of years, 3 years max. What they're doing is they're renting players to essentially build through the draft. So like we were saying, he wants to get his own guys in there. Well, he's going to do that through the draft and accrue as many picks as you can. Obviously they got a high pick this year. Do what you can, get best player available, bring in more talent, and then figure out the rest as you kind of go along.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what Ryan Pace is up to. Now let's shift gears to the World Baseball Classic. We've got Pool C for USA. They beat Colombia 3-2 on a walk-off single by Adam Jones in the 10th inning. I know Corey was a little nervous watching this game.
Well, okay. I don't know if I was excited to watch because I got to watch the Chicago White Sox very own Jose Quintana no-hit this lineup of USA All-Stars, MLB All-Stars, for 5 2/3 innings, and he left with a 2-0 lead. And just in typical White Sox fashion, but I mean, the Team Colombia has really not much outside of Jose Quintana.
Well, they do have Julio Teheran too. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, that's about it. And in typical fashion, they blew the lead, the 2-0 lead. Jose Quintana got a no decision. Fun fact: Jose Quintana has more no decisions in his career, 59, than he does wins, 41, or losses, 41. So
that is an insane statistic.
They're going to change the name of the no decision to the Quintana by the time he retires. I bet you anything. But he set down that USA lineup, and because of how the World Baseball Classic works, when you're a pitcher, you only throw 65 pitches in your first start in the World Baseball Classic, and they pulled him at 63 because he was through 5 2/3, and they just kind of figured, there's only a runner on first, we can manage, and they weren't able to manage.
Yeah, I mean, the USA is obviously a more talented team than Colombia, if you just look at the lineup, but Quintana was able to dominate, and then obviously he comes out, USA capitalizes fully on that, they win the game. Mm-hmm. What I really want to talk about is the game that's going on today, our US of A against the defending champion, Dominican Republic, and we all know who's out there getting it done right now. Marcus Stroman on the hill for the boys. HDMH, he's out there, dominant, shutout. USA is USA currently winning 4-0 over the defending champs in the 6th inning, and the Stro Show is out there just laying down the work. Corey, he's the greatest in the AL, right?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
But height doesn't measure heart. You know how many Mike Stud songs he's in now? 3, I think.
Coincidentally, how many douchey songs is he in right now?
0. I mean, come on. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think I was going to say there?
Once I saw Stroman dominating underlined on your paper, I was like, here we go.
He's dominating. He's got. I meant to bring home my Stroman jersey, and I forgot. I was so salty yesterday. I'm thinking,
the fact that you own a jersey of a league average pitcher is just astounding to me.
Listen, the story is what matters, all right?
Okay.
The story.
Move on.
I relate to the story, okay?
Okay.
All right, so basically, if this game stays the way it is, USA's 2-0, Dominican Republic at 1-1. Tomorrow, Dominican Republic plays Colombia. They'll smash them. They'll move to 2-1. Tomorrow, USA plays Canada. They'll smash them, move to 3-0. Both teams will advance to the second round. And then Colombia, for your sake, will be out.
Hey.
Quintana won't pitch.
Jose Quintana won't risk getting hurt again because his trade value is through the fucking roof now.
And then it moves to some other country, and then we continue to play these games until we get a winner. You know what I did hear them talking about? So the All-Star game now means nothing. So they were saying, just a broad proposal, no traction to this, but during the All-Star break, they said we should play the semifinals and finals of the World Baseball Classic every 4 years.
I'd like that.
That'd be cool as hell. Am I wrong?
You're not. That'd be really cool.
That'd be so cool. No All-Star game every 4 years. You just play the semifinal and the final.
That'd be great.
That'd be sick. I heard that and I was like,
I still don't think USA players will try that hard.
Yeah, no, probably not.
USA is, I think, the only country that doesn't actively try for the most part. But
I mean, you had a lot of guys that said, "I don't want it. It doesn't mean anything to me."
Yeah,
like they just flat out came out and said,
"Yeah,
I don't care."
You see people. It's great. You see players like Jose Quintana from other countries who go back to play for Colombia, and this is so huge for them.
Right. Well, I think it has a lot to do with like how you came up as a kid. Like, did you come from like a rough town? Was it always a daily struggle for you, or did you have everything kind of handed to you?
Yeah, and he worked. Not saying the American players didn't work hard. But Jose Quintana worked hard to, get to America and be an elite pitcher in the league, and he wants to represent his home country, and good for him. But USA players, I don't think, feel that struggle, and they know they got their eyes on different prizes, so it's not a big deal for them.
Who are you going to pick to win the World Baseball Classic?
What is it, the Dominican Republic with that lineup?
Yeah, they have Cano, Nelson Cruz, Manny Machado. I mean, the lineup is absolutely stacked. But so is USA's lineup.
But the Dominican Republic has a better lineup.
Sure, they might. USA might have better pitching. As we see right now, as they're getting shut out by the USA.
I know. That's why I don't want to say Dominican Republic.
USA just scored another run, 5-0.
Oh my God, they're getting 3 hit
by the Stroh Show.
Jesus Christ. I really, really want to say Dominican Republic, but USA, baby, let's go.
You can't say anything but the USA, baby. Let's get it, boys. Bring it home to America where it belongs. What I thought was funny was they're playing in Marlins Park right now, and the starting corner outfielders for the USA are Christian Yelich and Giancarlo Stanton. They're right. They're right at home. Not a far drive for these guys at all. But I know USA is going to win the World Baseball Classic. Pride, baby. All right. That's really all we got for you guys today. I don't want to get into the Bulls, really, because they've lost 4 in a row, and I'm really sick of talking about how I was right. Surprising as that sounds. They're on the 8th seed in the East right now. It's an absolute.
I think they're up half a game or a game and a half on the 9th place team.
Yeah,
so
they should miss the playoffs.
Let's just hope. Let's hope a little more losing.
All right, that's really all we got for you guys today. We'll probably be talking a lot more NFL free agency in the weeks to come. It's not going to slow down here as we head into the summer. It's going to get more fun, and as baseball comes back, we cannot wait for that.
And we're getting close to NFL draft time.
Yes, NFL draft time.
About a month and a half from that.
We're going to have brackets coming up here soon for college basketball.
Yeah, we are.
You can expect us to be filling out a bracket on the show here. So a lot coming up, a lot to look forward to. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Get after it. Let's get the hype going, baby. Let's go, Corey. 3 episodes in 7 days, coming back again next week. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time.
Peace.
It's 6, and they locked in on every pitch. Life crazy got the boy tagging me in pics. They think they getting me, but they ain't never stressing me. Cooking in the lab, and I got the recipe. Mama always texting me, but I don't always get to see. But trust me, she already know I got the message. I can get the message. Love my family and my circle. Shout my Steve's word to Urkel. I'm working with the purpose for certain. Tell my doubters turn it louder. Perfect. Riding with my team, don't be sliding in my DMs, cause I ain't gon' read them anyway. I got the tunnel vision, I don't see the competition. If I want it, then I get it anyway. Put them